There are many factors in determining the future cash flows of a business, and that list can go on and on. I'm going to cover several ones that generally come up that you want to keep in mind, and hopefully these will help in making that estimated calculation. One thing to think about is the durable competitive advantage your business has. This is what Warren Buffett calls a business's moat. How easy is it for other businesses to steal your market share, to steal your customers? And how certain are you, maybe in the next 10 years, that your current customers will still be with you and you'll be able to grow that moat and acquire more customers and more market share? Best businesses are able to do this. Another one is average earnings over the past lifetime of the company. There's a lot of focus on what the business may have earned the last year. A lot of times in mergers and acquisitions, this is what's focused on, or if you watch CNBC. But a year is a short period of time. That may distort some realities about the business. Ideally, you want to look at the entire lifetime of the business, at least if possible, 5 to 10 years, and to draw some averages to lead you to conclusions of what this business has earned. And as was brilliantly said by Mark Twain, history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure rhymes. So look at the past earnings, but to just make a linear assumption that's what's going to go on in the future isn't correct either. Another thing to think about is sensitivity to trends. Does this consumer base change their mind a lot? With regards to smartphones over the last 5 years, we've seen many changes between brands. And so I don't know what type of smartphone people will be using in 10 years. I do know that people have drank Coca-Cola for the last 100 years, and I bet they'll be drinking Coca-Cola in 10 years compared to some generic brand. What is your consumer's cost of switching? If you think about things like your IT service provider, your accounting firm that services your business, the law firm that services your business, it's kind of painful to switch from these service providers. They're sticky. You can switch, but it's difficult, so you tend to stick with them even if they make small mistakes. Now, if they make a huge mistake, you'll leave, but this is a very, very important point. Another thing to think about is the scalability of your business, which is another way of saying what are its growth potentials. Some businesses scale terribly. I practiced law for a while. To start a law firm has horrible scale. Other things like Facebook have wonderful scale. They can scale on a global level, and that is very correlated to what a business can earn. Another thing to think about is the business's pricing power. Certain businesses, great businesses like Coca-Cola, have the power to raise their prices over time with things like inflation, or if their costs go up, and this protects their margins and their earnings, essentially. Some businesses do not have very good pricing power. These tend to be more commodity type businesses, and the consumer is just looking for the cheapest product. They don't care about the brand, and it's hard to protect your earnings and your future cash flows. Sum it up, there are many, many factors when it comes to calculating future cash flows of a business. In fact, we spend much of our time studying this and thinking about all the different aspects of it, and it does require some creativity. But there are some core things you always need to calculate. The certainty of those cash flows, the amounts, the customer behavior, what this business may have earned in the past. And I would say always just try to use common sense, be conservative. You want to have, it's good to be pleasantly surprised on the upside rather than making lofty, optimistic calculations and being disappointed.